office, kind of walk through the carriage assembly, just kind of general stuff, right? Top to bottom. We've got kind of the tools that we'll use here, just an impact. We've unpacked the crate. You'll see outside here we've got our 2 uprights, and then as well as the beams. So we'll kind of just throw those up and follow along.
The beams are definitely a 2-man job. Kind of got to get
1.5 man. And you'll hear that click. That's your pallet rack beam just locking into place right there. When you put these up against the wall, you don't have to be.
Yeah, you can give yourself plenty of room.
Give yourself a little room.
Because then once you have your uprights and beams up, it kind of gives you the exact footprint of what that system's going to be. So now you can
move it
around and figure out exactly where you want it.
And with 1 beam, it'll be lighter than 2, so you can kind of get it placed where you want it generally, and then.
And give yourself room off the wall because you'll be hanging the upright panels and you'll need access for those bolts too.
And that clips in place just like that. So when we ship beams, the beam with the sticker is the front beam. That'll go on the outside with the logo. It's a standard 6-inch pallet rack beam here. So on a 10-foot, what's our load rating on
It's
it?
8,500 pounds of capacity. So that's system wide, so it's shared top and bottom.
So in addition to, the first thing you want to do, because our system is fully suspended from top down, it depends, and your shelves are going to roll, is check the level on your system. A lot of people's floors are a little bit off. So what we'll do now is we'll just make sure we're level real quick. Grab this level. There we go. I'm not tall enough to see. What is that? Is it close?
It actually looks pretty good.
Okay.
If it's not level, we have these shim pads that basically go right underneath the upright pad, foot pad. It just matches that, and you just slide it under.
In addition, the holes are still in that, so if you are in a situation where you're securing it to the floor, you can still secure it through the shim.
So we have wire deck next. Again, we're going top to the bottom, so this kind of helps square up the system too. So if you put these on,
yeah, a lot of guys when they set up the system, they measure from did you get that in there? From corner to corner to make sure it's square. This kind of accomplishes that task for you in a close enough situation. You can do that. This is kind of an easy way, and that's kind of our goal, is to show some tips and tricks that we use to assemble, because it is a pretty simple system, but that does help a ton to put that on first, square it up, and alleviate some issues down the road. Yeah, so next is the trolley, and they ship, each trolley individually will ship in this box like this, all completely pre-assembled.
one side is gauged, one side is loose.
So we'll show you how that really interfaces with this track.
So one side is gauged for you and the other side's loose, so we recommend putting up all the fixed sides to one side. That'll just help with the flushness of the front.
Probably to the back, towards the wall is the easiest.
Just drop the one side over the rail, lift, slide it over, torque 2 bolts. And here you just want your binder wheels, all the wheels to just be contacting the rail from the side. So it's a 3/4 inch socket. So once you got everything just contacting the rail, just snug it up.
Next is the upright panels. So we've got 2 upright panels here. You can tell which side's the top because it has the
2 mounting holes.
So basically on the upright panel you have 2 carriage bolts and 2 lock nuts. Essentially go through here. Pretty easy process. Your trolleys are slotted on the outside, so you lift those up, drop them in. It's a good idea when you're assembling these just to hand tighten these when you're putting it together for the first time. If you snug them up and really torque them with a wrench, you're going to have a little bit tougher time getting your shelves in. So we usually recommend, again, another little trick of putting a lot of these together is leaving these just a little bit loose and tighten those up at the end. So on this, after you get your upright panels tightened, the next thing, normally we would go to the shelf supports. On this edition, we have a steel back sheet that's kind of new to our system. It's going to be standard with every product that goes out the door now, but it's got a little bit different way of attaching it. So we're gonna kind of show you how to do that.
You have to do this first before the shelf supports, because the shelf supports and shelves actually lock this into place.
Yeah, so we'll show you how that works.
It's kind of a two-man.
It is. It helps to have a friend when you're putting these together.
So this kind of nests behind this lip here, so you kind of got to buckle the middle out like that just to get it to go behind.
There, AJ.
So you get it to go behind it, and then you lift this to line up with your mounting hole.
So yeah, on a finished product, you'll see at the end, it tucks right in there really nice and seamless.
But this is probably the trickiest part, because you got to put a bolt through, then a spacer.
So we have initially, when you have that in, the way it is now, it'll kind of just hang at the bottom. So once we get the little spacer and a bolt here, two actually, that go up in these holes, that'll help it hold it away, but also secure it. So we'll show you how those go together. Oh, just like that.
Kind of got to lift it, and
I'm gonna put both of them in first.
you just do one side first. It's a little easier. So we'll kind of go up. Yep. Okay, now push that through. There you go. There's a little lock nut that goes on. Just get that tight, and that'll hold everything in place. And that's nested around the corner correctly. He's got this side.
So yeah, shelf supports and then it secures that out. So that's what we'll do next.
So usually we start on the bottom with these. As you can see, the shelf, the back sheet's kind of loose back here. It's just hanging. So we'll use the shelf support to actually secure that and start working our way up.
The shelves are completely adjustable. So obviously, you know, the bottom's kind of important, nice to keep it together. You don't have to have one on the bottom, but it is helpful when you're squaring everything up. So there's kind of endless options on where you put these shelves. We're starting at the bottom, working our way up. They come standard with 4 inside, but you can kind of put them as close together as you want, as far apart as you want. And, you can kind of put them, organize it however you'd like.
And like Ryan said, you probably want to start with the bottom one just to get that back sheet kind of locked in place. And then once you have the rivets in the key slot, you just want to take a mallet and just tap it, and that kind of seats it and holds it in place. So we usually like get a couple going just to, again, hold that back sheet, and it kind of gets the whole system square. Just give it a little tap.
So after we get a couple layers of supports in, we'll go ahead and add these steel shelves. So this is kind of the standard 2 on the inside now. We used to carry particle board shelves. Now everything is steel. Just better for longevity and durability and overall cleanliness.
So this little feature here kind of acts as the lock for the back sheet. So when you drop this in over your shelf support, that little groove there kind of holds the back sheet in place. So like here's the back sheet that's kind of just bent around that corner. And then this shelf actually has that notch that matches that. So when you drop it in, it locks it in place.
So there you have it. We've got 3 shelves in this one. Normally, like I said, they come standard with 4. We're going to show you a couple accessories that go on the inside of this unit. But essentially, that's the hanging of one singular trolley and mobile unit inside of a lev rack. So if you have a 10-foot section like we have, kind of repeat that process 4 more times, yeah,
Yep.
and you'd have it done. The last piece, when you get done with the trolleys, is the handle actually that goes on the front. So the nice thing about handles on the front is there's 2 options for handles. Some people want every handle on the same side. We like to open, put the handles on the inside and open the shelves apart. So we put them on the inside. I'll show you real quick, but that's just a couple bolts. In addition to that, when we're here, this is also a nice little accessory that we just came out with that you can add to the front underneath your handle. So it's a locking mechanism, just a locking bracket that allows you to lock your handles together. So like we said, the reason that we put the handles on the inside is so you could lock these 2 together. So that's the main purpose for that. That little locking mechanism that you can just throw a padlock or a little master lock through and lock the 2 units together and keep people out or keep them from rolling. So.
Then we also got these you'll find these little guys in your kit, your hardware kit. Basically, it's just a finishing plug for the unused holes. Just push in. Probably the easiest part of the assembly.
This is kind of essentially a finished trolley, a finished mobile unit, as we call them, ready to roll with the steel back. And after this, we'll show you a couple accessories that we have and what the finished product looks like.